3D metal model kits. Has anyone seen these? I have a couple here. These were gifts. This one here, the Iron Man one, my nephew gave me. This one actually looks pretty dang complicated. I've never done any of these. And this one I recently got from my cousin, and apparently it came out of one of the more recent man cans from Iraq Veteran 8888. Seems a little simpler. At least it's definitely not as heavy. Looks like two different companies here, but I'm going to build this one here. It's a Huey helicopter. And stick around if you want to see how it's done. No glue, no solder needed. You do need some tweezers, some little parts here. So I'm going to do this in another vid. I'm going to try to tackle this Iron Man, which looks cool as all get out. So, let's do this. Alright, here's a finished product. I'm going to do this a little bit backwards here. I'm going to show you the finished product. If you want to watch the rest of the vid after I give you my tips that I picked up along the way, or my suggestions, I will put an accelerated fast forward type version of me putting this thing together, kind of edited, because it's pretty brutal long, I guess. This stuff is, oh, you can see I just bent that little guy. Pretty easy to bend by hand. Very fun. It is tedious. It is small as far as the tabs go, so it can be a little tedious. If you find yourself getting frustrated with one of these little kits, I'd just walk away. Take a few minutes, come back to it, because you want this to be a fun process, and I would say don't stress out about it being perfect, because it's little tiny metal art. It's going to be fine. Now, tweezers are your friend. Get a good steady little set of tweezers. Even these seemed a little too big, but at the same time, and you need them stiff enough. These little tabs, here's a tip. So these little tabs, let me see if I can get the camera to focus. There we go. Maybe. So those little tabs there, fold them over like that. If it's in an area that you can't see, like inside as you're building, take the tab, twist it 90, leave it be. I went ahead and twisted 90. Some of them I folded them over as an overkill. That becomes very tedious, and as long as it's holding, that's all you care, right? So be careful with your folds, but don't be afraid to fold stuff, because you can bend it back. As long as you're not going back and forth to break the piece of metal, you'll be fine. You can manipulate this stuff a little bit. Biggest thing, so the instructions were 1, 2, 3, and so on, with no words. But the last piece was these I'm not a helicopter guy. These pedestals that it sets down on. There's two tabs that feed up, and they actually want to be underneath the seat. That's pretty cool. It actually has a seat in there. But of course, there's no pilot and co-pilot seat. Anyway, the tabs were underneath there, and it's like this was the last step. I could have put that on the base plate first. Possibly it would have been a little hard to get to some of these tabs right here, putting the base plate on, but man, that was a pain in the butt getting these. I wound up having to get a small pin punch and just getting in there and folding those tabs down. That worked. Fold these down until it'll set level and wherever you want it, where it's not falling back, type of thing. Man, this was fun. Set aside some time and don't be afraid to take breaks. That's my recommendation. This one, stay tuned if you want to see this build. I may do that. I may save that for later in the week. I may actually take a few days to do it. It looks pretty freaking intense. This one looks a lot more advanced. Well, it does say advanced model, not recommended for beginners. So now that I've built one, I guess I'm not a beginner. But I'm not advanced, so I'm a novice. We'll tackle it anyway. But stay tuned for that sometime in the future. Let me know if you have any tips, tricks on building these little 3D metal art kits. This was fun. Shout out to my cousin and my nephew for giving me these two things. I like it. I even have a little bit of nerve damage in my hands from a neck injury, and I'm able to do this, and this is actually good practice with dexterity and stuff. So taking your time, use the tools, enjoy it. Alright, there you go. If you're still with me, let's hit up the fast forward style build of this sucker. Alright, so the panel itself is numbered, which is nice, and so I'm just going to follow instructions there. There's no real written stuff other than a warning to be careful with the metal here. Once you're done, discard all the extras.